So I've waited a very long time to talk about it. Let's do it. Let's talk about Predecessor.
What will you do for victory? Will you succumb to destruction? Or rise to glory?
So there's a lot under the hood. First of all, this is a MOBA. And a lot of people kind of get scared when they think of a MOBA because it is a complex genre to get into. There's a lot under the hood when you get into MOBAs. I've tried League, can't get into it. Tried Dota 2, can't do that either. Not really my style. Even tried Smite. Didn't work. Nothing really clicked. For me, I'm a third-person perspective player. I like that third-person perspective, to be able to sneak around, see around corners, get that kind of idea, right? Moving into the world of a MOBA is daunting. You get in there, you get crushed, you get decimated. It is not a good time. But what was so different with Predecessor is what pulled me in, and it was the perspective. It was getting down closer to the ground and having that eye level of capability of seeing your surroundings instead of having that usual top-down perspective. Now, granted, you can argue that Smite is the same thing, but it's not. And I'll explain as to why that is. Now, granted, I didn't get very heavily involved into Smite, but you're locked onto this playing field of how you're able to take out your targets. Essentially, Predecessor changes up the formula of what we're used to in a typical MOBA. The combat is what really elevates this apart from the others. The free-flowing combat controls allow us to aim precisely where we want to, something that's not typically found in a MOBA, especially at this perspective. But before we continue on, why don't we rewind time and explain a little bit where Predecessor came from. So there's a title called Paragon. Epic Games were the creators behind it. I know, yeah. What happened? Well, in 2018, Paragon was shut down. Why? Because there's a little title called Fortnite that took over everything. Epic Games switched their whole team over to the world of Fortnite, probably for the better, I would say, I guess, for them, not for us. In the grand scheme of things, though, what Epic did was they released all the assets to the Unreal Marketplace, which then allowed everybody and anybody who wanted to get in there and scoop up those assets, because they were also free. Nice move. Nice on them to do that for the community and anybody who wanted to pick up where Paragon left off and then grow into this other genre of whatever they wanted to create with those assets. Well, what we got now is we have Overprime, a couple others as well, and really stands out at the moment, which just reached into early access, is Predecessor, thanks to Omeda Studios. Now, on top of all this, Omeda Studios actually applied for a mega grant from Epic and was awarded $2 million to produce the game. Yeah. You shut down the game, give it to somebody else, and then you give them money to produce the game that you were already working on. It's kind of a little confusing, isn't it? And on top of that, Omeda also was funded $20 million, so the future of Predecessor is great, which is nice to see. Now let's get into the game itself. Third-person perspective MOBA. Changed everything for me moving forward, and this is why I kind of highly recommend people checking it out. There are different tiers you can go in right now. It is early access, so you have the ability to go in for, I believe, $10 all the way up to $50, which then grants you access to 5 new heroes that will be launching over the course of 2023. A lot of heroes, a lot of unique abilities, and a lot of communication is required when getting into this. Complex part is all the systems and mechanics. What do you sell? What do you buy? What do you upgrade? And how does all this work? What do the lanes mean? Off lane, dual lane, mid lane, the jungle. It's all a little confusing. I get it. And you're not going to get it on day one. I'll be honest. It's going to take you a bunch of games to get in and feel comfortable. If you can roll with the team who actually is understanding, that is the biggest move for you. That is the biggest excitement, is when you have a team who's actually communicating, because you need to know that the jungler is no longer over in his jungle and he's over in the right lane instead. Hopefully it doesn't get too confusing for you, because everybody should really give this a chance. It might be the new move for your next genre that you never thought you'd ever explore. Omeda Studios actually gives us the ability to go into practice mode and test out our heroes, test out the abilities, and test out the items. Learn the items in a practice. You don't have to immediately go in and go player versus player, because you will get destroyed. There is the option you can do that as well. So if you are familiar with a MOBA, I'd say go that way. Learn, just learn. Like, that's the biggest thing. How much do you want to learn? because there's a lot to unpack. But if you can also go in and test everything out and practice, it's awesome. They give you all the buffs in there. They give you another hero to fight against. You can grind out and learn your particular style. Do you like the jungle? Do you want to go solo? Do you want to do mid lane? What character kind of jives with you? What abilities do you feel you can counter on? And all that kind of stuff. There's a lot to... I keep going back to it. There's a lot to unpack. It is a MOBA. There's a lot of strategy, and it's very complex. Hopefully it doesn't sound too daunting, because it can seem a little overwhelming, but I really want people just to give it a shot. Get in there, have a good time. If you can find friends, that's the way to roll this and learn together. And then from there, the game will be coming to consoles. Omeda is working on it right now, which is fantastic. I cannot wait for it to come to consoles. Right now I'm over on Steam. I'm not a mouse and keyboard player whatsoever, but I'm still having a great time there. I was rolling the other day with my son, and it's like, it's one of those experiences that if you have somebody with you, it's just different. And it always comes down to a 5 versus 5 player mechanic, but you need that team to coordinate. Otherwise, like other games, you're just gonna get destroyed.
Ally has been slain.
Predecessor is definitely my go-to MOBA. Right from the top, I said I'm not a MOBA player. I'm really not. League of Legends, tried it, didn't click for me. Dota, tried it, didn't click for me. Smite, tried that too, didn't work. Even though that is a third-person perspective, just didn't hit with me. I didn't really like how the aim mechanic worked. I didn't feel that free movement that you expect from a third-person perspective. Predecessor changed all that. Granted, going way back to Paragon, I guess, really changed that. And now moving forward into Predecessor, right back, and it feels fantastic to be back. Really did kind of miss this game. I didn't realize how much I missed playing Paragon until Predecessor dropped, and they had the beta earlier in the year, loved it, and now we're into early access. I'm not going anywhere, and when it comes to console, I'm going to jump back over there as well. I was well over 100 hours into Paragon back in the day, and well, I see the future being about the same here for Predecessor too. And they keep coming out with more and more characters lined up for next year, which is exciting. 5 more characters. Very anxious to see what those are going to be. You may surprise yourself. MOBAs are tough, but if you give this a shot, it might actually click for you the way it did for me. I highly recommend you check it out.